There's a lot of stuff going on right now in America.
True.
I'm not going to guess. um, so my first take was of all the young quarterbacks, Bo Nix looked exactly like I thought Bo Nix was going to look like. And the Broncos quarterback out of Auburn and Oregon, because he had so many college starts, you kind of know what he is. And what I think, I think the Drew Brees comp because of Sean Payton feels kind of accurate. He's certainly right now more mobile than Drew Brees was at the end of his career. But my take on Bo Nix was that's exactly what Sean had texted me. That's exactly what I saw in college. No big surprises. You're a former scout. What'd you see?
Yeah, I think him and Michael Penix are two guys that played in college football for felt 10 years. And
Yeah.
they played each other, it felt like, what, 4 or 5 times over the last 18 months
Right.
in massive games. And starting with Bo Nix, he got dinged a lot because of the offense he played in, right?
Yeah.
Threw it parallel to the line of scrimmage all the time. It used to happen forever with the Leach offensive guys, the
Yeah.
spread offense, Hawaii, Mike Leach, wherever he was, then Oklahoma started. You didn't need a big arm quarterback. And I
Yeah.
remember watching him in college going, I think his arm's a little bit better than the way he's getting, I would say, kind of pigeonholed as a player. And you watch him
Right.
today, I don't want to say he's not Brett Favre or Josh Allen, but his arm strength is well above average in the NFL. And that
Yeah.
touchdown pass he had was in and out of his hands in the corner of the end zone, hitting the guy accurately at the front of the pylon. It doesn't get any better than that. The velocity, the accuracy, how quick it is. And then obviously you see, again, Patrick Willis isn't exactly chasing him, but clearly his athleticism moving around translates. And he's confident. Like that was the thing with Trey Lance when the Niners got him. His athleticism, he wasn't confident in it because he had never been chased by the caliber of player. Bo Nix has been playing the best of the best, like I said, for 10 years in college. And
Right.
athleticism, movement wise, clearly what Sean Payton wanted to do, and this didn't work out because he's not a quarterback, was a guy like Taysom Hill who could move around and throw. Drew
Right.
Brees was stagnant in the pocket. Now he's great at it, but the modern day football, you have to be able to move to throw. I don't need you to be Lamar Jackson, but you got to be able to keep plays alive. You notice all these rookie quarterbacks? They're all
Yeah.
athletic and they all can throw on the move. And Bo Nix clearly can. And I know Sean, kind of old school, not naming the starter, had him down. This thing's over. Like, I don't even know who the Broncos play week one. He's your starting quarterback week one.
Yeah.
Do you agree with
And,
that?
and
Like, this thing will
yeah.
play itself out. I think you want to make him earn it. Sean is not one of these new age 38-year-old offensive
Yeah.
coordinators, but this thing played itself out today in front of everyone's eyes. Like, there's no point in putting. It'd be one thing if they had Peyton Manning or something. This Jared Stidham. Like, this thing's a
Come on.
wrap.
Well, and the other thing, he looked more comfortable in the pocket. What one of his backups, Zach Wilson, did in any game in New York. His feet were great. He was set. That's a lot of it, just college starts. And the other thing is he played in the SEC, so that's the best defensive conference easily. And then when he went to the Pac-12, that's probably the best the Pac-12's been in my lifetime. Washington was good. Oregon was good. Utah could thump. Oregon State was good. USC could score. Arizona won 7 in a row and beat Oklahoma in a bowl game. The conference was really, really
UCLA
good.
was good on defense these last couple of
Yep.
years. They had a top 15 pass rusher.
So Bo Nix, you say, oh, we went to the Pac-12. No, this Pac-12, Arizona basketball school reeled off 7 straight and beat Oklahoma in a bowl game. It was a real Oregon State was really good at the end of the year. It's like, guys, and the other thing about Bo, when I watched him twice, I saw him play Washington, Oregon in person. I saw him at the 40 end zone. And then I went 2 weeks later, I think it was, or whatever it was, I went to the Utah game and I got like second row seats. I called a buddy. I got right down on the field, right behind the Oregon bench because I wanted to watch he and Penix. And he's more cut than you think. He's ripped. And he is really verbal on the sideline. Dad's a coach. And then I met him in person for about an hour, 40-minute interview before and after the show. I was just blown away by him. And then I got a couple early texts from Sean Payton, and I was like, this kid's really working. And the other thing about him is there is something to be said about seeing the field. We've always said this with Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. They just don't see it. It just takes a beat too long. Bo sees the field. And some of this is not only did he play at 2 schools, I believe he had 5 different coordinators in 5 years. It could be 4, but I think it's 5. So, John, this kid has had to pick up. We've never seen this kid have the same system back-to-back years.
Well, think about this, Colin, and we've talked about this many times. All the best quarterbacks right now in the NFL have struggled at points in time early in their career. A lot of them in college. Mahomes was on a team getting their ass kicked by any good team, right? Did not have any. Josh Allen begged schools like Fresno State for a scholarship. They said no thanks. Lamar got drafted 32nd in a draft that had a bunch of quarterbacks. His own team drafted another player before they drafted him. Justin Herbert was kind of an afterthought after Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa. So you look at this class, Bo Nix got beat up bad when he was in the SEC and had to transfer, and clearly it changed his career, right? So you see a lot of these guys, Caleb is one guy that had a lot of success, but I think this class is full of guys that had to struggle, and he, to me, is at the top of the list. Him and Penix, had to transfer, were not viewed as first-round picks by any means at the time they transferred, and really had to earn it. And both those two guys, Bo was awesome. In college, obviously, statistically, he was incredible. Now, it's a little inflated the way people play. It's why that any coach will tell you, okay, he throws a bunch, parallel to the line of scrimmage. When I evaluate him, we don't watch those passes. I think Sean said that. I cut those out, and we evaluate everything past the line of scrimmage, the timing, the rhythm, the accuracy. Yeah, I was pretty blown away. I was bullish on him just because of his coach, but his physical skills, that's the other thing. Him and Caleb Wright aren't super tall, and it stands out when you see them. They're not 6'4", 6'5". Both of them are thick. Both of them are built. Russell, who's shorter than those guys, had that same thing early on. You're like, well, he looks like an NFL guy physically. Kyler, who's even shorter than that, also built, and that matters. And that's like watching Jaden, very physically gifted, throws a beautiful ball, but God, he's skinny. And Bo Nix has this innate ability because he's been a runner his whole life. And he played in the SEC. He's not playing hero ball, get out of bounds, get down. Like I'm getting Caleb yesterday had a great slide. Like you can't be running around. JJ McCarthy yesterday had a run. There were two defenders. He kind of lowered his shoulders. Like you can't do this. And I understand John Lynch and Steve Atwater, the game has changed, but that's the only time when these defenders, they can't hit you all preseason because the starters don't play. Joint practices, there's no tackling. The regular season game, for 17 of them, when you cross that line of scrimmage and you're erect, they're coming at you. And I know these guys are a little smaller. They've never been faster. So these linebackers, now they don't weigh 260. They weigh 228 or 234. They're running 4.44s. And they will destroy. They'll break your collarbone. They'll break your leg.
Well, that's what happened to Baker Mayfield. That when he got his collarbone broken, he tried to size up a safety, I think it was. Guy ran over him.
Can't do it. I remember early on in Derek Carr's career, he tried to stiff arm Pac-Man Jones. He's lucky he didn't break his hand. He hurt his thumb. You cannot, these guys, and I think Bo Nix, very unique situation when you say to go to a coach like this with the experience he has. But to me, the physical skills were pretty, God, I guess I didn't quite realize how strong his arm was. It jumped off the TV this morning.
But this one's for Pat.